Psalm 16 verse 11 says, "You have made known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasure at your right hand." I love the psalmist because they declare, and I know the circumstances. I don't know quite the context of this one, but often the circumstances of the psalm is very opposite to what the psalm is saying. And psalmists are there to encourage and build up and create hope, um, and so they often have to go, I declare, that you fill me with joy in your presence and eternal pleasure at your right hand. And so the psalmist puts Israel in a place of strength at the right hand of God, and and says, I am in your presence, and reminds God. Often it's after a victory and they come and they say, we are fulfilled and we are happy. And so this could be in one of those times. So either way, they they show how much the people of Israel in the days of the psalmists relied on being in the presence of God, relying on God giving them the gifts of joy and hope. We spoke yesterday about God putting laughter and joy, and that you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to go and what makes me happy, and then we go and search it, and we go. And I love to travel, so we go on these long trips, and then we come back exhausted and think, well, we've just been on holiday. And let me, I love the trips we've gone on in that, but it has not fulfilled the thing in me that only God can do. They've been awesome. They've been wonderful experiences that I never thought I'd get, so I'm happy about it. But without God, all these things are empty. All these things are half or mean nothing. Even if you go and go, oh, I love nature, unless you understand it in the context of God's nature. I love God's window. I've been the northern parts of above Gauteng. It used to be the northern eastern Transvaal. I can't always remember exactly where each place is anymore. But we have this beautiful area up north of where I live, and it is mind-blowing, the beauty. And there's a place where you stand and it literally looks, it's God's window. It's the size, it looks like you're looking into God's idea of what he wanted for creation. And I stood there one day and I just looked at all the because it had rained and it was lush, and it had these gorges. So it had black, and it had, there is water running and things like that. But then it had all the greens on the earth encapsulated in this one view. And I just looked at it and I thought, God, you are the master artist. And then he said, and it was in a time when our history in South Africa was struggling. Our history quite recently was struggling. And he said, I am the master artist. Every color here is green, but they are tweaked and they are very of their own color. They are very unique and they are very beautiful, each green. Who am I to say that the colors he's used in humanity is not incredibly beautiful and unique? The colors and the shapes and the just everything about humans. You put us all together. It is just a window of God's mastery, of beauty, and of artistry. And that makes me feel good, because there are scriptures that says you are in your mother's womb, you are knitted together. And so we all have that opportunity, as regardless of who we are, what we look like, where we come from, we all have that opportunity to sit at the right hand and receive that pleasure from God, as the psalmist says. You have made known to me, you God, the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasure at your right hand. And that path, We're always talking about what's the next step, and look down at your feet, and God lights each step at a specific time, at the right time, so that you can walk the path in the right. But He knows the path of life in general. We are born, we live, and we pass. What happens in between, when it's happening with God, we know that those steps have been set. And each one has been blessed. That blew my mind today. Hope it blew yours. Have a wonderful day, and we'll speak again tomorrow.